In today's show, we preview the game against the Lakers, talk about Matisse Thybulle blossoming into a real three-point shooter and Jabari Walker in the best scoring stretch of his career. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making this show your first listen, coming at you Monday through Friday, each and every weekday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Tell your friends to do the same and make it your first listen. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's show, we're going to preview the Lakers game, a rematch after the Blazers lost Sunday in LA, but this time with in-season tournament implications. Talk about Matisse Thybulle raining three-pointers, raining them down from deep for Tease. And then we'll play our latest edition of You'd Love to See It, talking Jabari Walker and things that you would love to see. The way this podcast works is that Friday's game against the Lakers is just one of two that will happen before you hear my voice again. The dulcet tones of Mike Richmond talking hoops. Yeah, this dork. Lakers on Friday, Oklahoma City on Sunday. So the next time we speak, well, I speak to you. That's how this relationship works. I talk, you listen, and I really appreciate you listening. I honestly do. The Blazers will play 2 games. But I am a little leery to preview 2 games. One, a lot can happen, and there's games in between for the Thunder. But in addition, it's the injury report is such that for the Blazers that talking about who's going to be there is going to be important. So we're going to focus on the Laker game in this first segment. It's a rematch. Blazers, like I said, lost on Sunday, and now you get that in-season tournament special. You're going to get the funky court. That's how you know this one is meaningful. In that game on Sunday, Blazers, played them tough through the first 2 quarters. Looks like they were going to have that game slip away in the third, opened the fourth on a real nice surge, and then Anthony Davis came back on and helped the Lakers win close. They win by 6, but it wasn't like truly threatening, although the Blazers were certainly in it, had their opportunities in the final 5 minutes. Just couldn't close, couldn't get enough stops and enough buckets when they needed them. It's kind of been the theme of their season, is that they've played good enough to be in games but have not won. But you get Friday's game with implications for the in-season tournament. It is going to be, the way the in-season tournament works is there's 6 groups of 5 teams. The winners of those groups will advance to the quarters, and then the 2 other best teams, one from the West, one from the East, will advance. You're not going to make the quarterfinals with 2 losses. It's just not how the math works. The Blazers are 1-1. They got a win against Memphis. They got a loss Tuesday against the Utah Jazz. If they have aspirations of bringing a championship to Rip City this season, they got to win against the Lakers. I don't think you, dear Blazer fan, need much incentive to root for the Fighting Pinwheels to beat their hated rivals from the South. I'm not trying to hype up a Laker game. You got to root for them. You got to be invested because of the in-season tournament. But I think the in-season tournament, it's fun if your team wins, and if your team wins and there's a little carrot at the end of the stick, which is that Ryan Rupert gets $500,000. It's root for it. It'll be fun. It's certainly something it's certainly one little thing to be interested in. Plus you get the funky court. I don't like the court. I don't like the court. It's too red. The Blazers just too red. I don't think I've watched even close to every team, but I've watched more than a handful of games live on my television on these courts, and I don't even think the Blazers have one of the worst courts in the league. Certainly worse ones. I saw what the Pelicans were doing. I didn't really care for the Jazz's look with all that purple. Phoenix was pretty rough. I think Houston's was also very bad, but the Blazers, I don't like it. It's too much red. But funky court aside, they will wear their fun jerseys, and they'll play the Lakers in this. More importantly than the funky court and the jerseys, potentially could be LeBron James' last game in Portland. Who knows what's gonna happen with LeBron? He's still very good. he's also factually the oldest player in the league. And I think those two forces will at some point collide. Maybe he'll always be good and he'll just at some point walk away, but we'll see. This is the only visit the Lakers have to the Moda Center this year. And so it could potentially be LeBron's last game, except that he's listed as questionable with a left calf contusion. He did not play against the Blazers on Sunday. Then the Lakers poured it on against Memphis. Then they lost to the Kings, and now Friday you get after 2 games in the middle of the week. LeBron played in both those games. Now he's back questionable. We'll see if he plays. Some of this is he's probably on the injury report because you can't rest guys. You can't have like a DNP-CD, or you can't have like a DNP rest rather. I guess you can't have a DNP-CD either if you're LeBron because you're a star. You have to play. So he's probably on the injury report just in case, right? Because he needs to have an injury designation in order to sit out if they choose to sit him out because of the rest rules. We'll see. Selfishly, I hope he plays. I want to watch him. If this is the last time he ever visits Portland, I want to watch the best player I have ever seen live play basketball. For the Blazers, nothing new on the injury report. Still no Malcolm Brogdon. Sean Highkin of the Rose Garden Report reported that Malcolm Brogdon is day to day. We're all day to day. Every last one of us is day to day. Scoot Henderson, still nothing. He's out. Every time he's out till December. Ryan Rupert is going to play in the Blazers Rip City Remix, their G League affiliate. They play their home opener Friday and Saturday back to back, the first 2 games, inaugural games at the Child Center. Ryan Rupert is going to play in those games. Sounds like at least he's going to play in Friday's game for sure. And so why wouldn't he play in both? So he won't be available. But Justin Minaya, the team initially said he'd be with the G League team, but then they realized that they need enough healthy bodies to play. So Minaya will be with the big club. What you need to know about the Lakers, you just saw them on Sunday, but they're kind of mediocre. Maybe even worse than that, quietly. They're 6-6. They're 20th in offense, 20th in defense, according to Cleaning the Glass. So yeah, bottom 10 on both sides of the ball. They're pretty good in the half court, like in terms of points per shot. So they can't shoot from 3, but the real problem why they struggle is they don't get offensive rebounds. Just a bad offensive rebounding team. They're the best rim finishing team in the league. Like they make layups, they get dunks. LeBron, AD, they get in there and do their thing. They shoot okay from above the break. They're like an average shooting team from those top of the key type threes, but they're the worst corner 3-point shooting team in the league. And all that said, they're 23rd overall in 3-point shooting. And that's after having a wildly hot shooting night against the Grizzlies earlier this week. They were last in the league right there with the Blazers before that. They struggle on offense a little bit. If LeBron plays, it's a totally different game, and the Blazers will have, the Blazers are going to be dogs in this game regardless, but underdogs in this game regardless. But if LeBron plays, it changes the calculation so much because he's an all-timer and he's still very good. But in the first meeting, it was just AD. It was AD. Anthony Davis played 41 minutes in that game. He sat for 7 total minutes in the game. 7 total minutes. And in the 7 minutes that he was on the bench, the Blazers outscored the Lakers by 23. If it's no LeBron, this game's winnable. The Lakers are just so mediocre, and their offense is, their defense isn't as smothering as it's been, and their offense is just not that good right now. If LeBron doesn't play, this game is imminently winnable, even with the Blazers' current situation vis-a-vis health and youth. Yeah, like I said, I want LeBron to play. I want to see him. I'll be there, and I selfishly want to watch him play basketball. And I hope the Blazers win so they win the freaking championship, right? Bring a title home. Would they have a parade if they win the NBA Cup? No, but we would joke about it here on the podcast. And it would be fun. It would be fun if they beat. It would be the most fun outcome of this game is LeBron plays and plays pretty well, and then he gets sunned by like Skylar Mays and Matisse Thybulle, and Shaedon Sharpe has 36, like a career night, and the Blazers walk away, and the arenas will be like if you've been to a Laker game over the past 15 years, it's packed. packed with Laker fans. It's like, 35+% full with Laker fans. All those people wearing their Lower Merion high school jerseys are sad, and they leave with 4 minutes left because you're getting punked. Like, that's the most fun scenario. Like I said, though, if LeBron is not available, imminently winnable game because the Lakers are, as the kids say, mid. Okay, second segment. Matisse Thybulle can shoot it. He can shoot it. I want to talk about Matisse Thybulle's shooting and a streak that he has a chance to match that he has never matched except for one other time in his NBA career. He's never done it outside the city of Portland. Let's talk about the hot shooting Matisse, who's really providing a boost off the bench of late for the Blazers. But before we do that, let's talk about BetterHelp. Today's show, this episode, is brought to you by BetterHelp. If you're thinking about therapy, give BetterHelp a try. I think therapy can be super, super beneficial if you have an acute traumatic event. If something happens to you that rocks your world in whatever way that might be, and you need to talk to someone, therapy can be invaluable in helping you kind of cope and figure things out. But it can also just be routine maintenance for the challenges of being a human in everyday life. It can help you develop the tools to be the best version of yourself, whether that's learning coping skills with just the daily stresses and anxiety of existing in the world, or how to set boundaries in your personal or professional life. Therapy can be the thing that empowers you to find the best version of yourself, or at least helps you develop the tools to go out and search for that best version of yourself. So like I said, if you're thinking about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. So all you're going to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Today's show is also brought to you by Gametime. And if you're listening to this and have been maybe debating whether you're going to go to the Laker game, great news for you. Right now, as I'm recording this on Thursday evening, I got deals to get you in the gym. If you want to sit upstairs, you can sit upstairs on gametime.co right now as I pull this up. $61, $64 in the 300 level, a couple $59 options, $56 in section 328. Or, listen, Laker games are expensive. It's the most expensive ticket all season long until Damian Lillard joined the Bucks and the Blazers said, yeah, you're going to have to pay for that one. So I would check Gametime when the Bucks come in town too. But you could sit downstairs in section 117. That's behind the basket, on the basket closest to the Lakers bench. $150 for a ticket downstairs. Gametime.co. It's the place for last-minute tickets. You can also check them out on the Gametime app. I like it because what you see is what you get. So that $150 to sit in 117 downstairs, there's no hidden fees. That's what it's going to cost you. There's no convenience charge. $150. Click through, couple taps, you've got yourself tickets. So download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase, and it's going to be less than $150. Looking like $130 if you download the Gametime app. Again, terms apply. Create that account. Use the redemption code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, and you'll get $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right. Matisse Thybulle can shoot it, y'all. He could shoot it. I didn't think that was true. Last year in 22 games for the Portland Trail Blazers, Matisse Thybulle shot 38.8% from three. And I came on here in this podcast and said, shooting above average from three, but I don't know if it's real. Mostly because the nerds have convinced me. Shout out to my man, Kevin Pelton. He's not the only one, but I think he's going to be in the gym tomorrow too. I know he selfishly wants to see LeBron James as well. But it takes a while to sort of stabilize with shooting. It's a bunch of shots. The number is like north of 700. Shout out to Ben Falk. I think he might have actually been the one who wrote that. So when Matisse was taking, 43s and making a bunch of them, it's like, yeah, great. He's shooting really well. And then he comes into this season and he's still shooting them about 4 a night. And he's making them even better than he did last season when he shot a career best. Even better than last season than when he shot a career best. 41.9% from 3. 18 of 43 on the season. And 81% of his shots are three-pointers. He's not going inside the arc. He's taken 10 twos all year long. 10 twos in 11 games. He's making them, though. He's getting layups and dunks, and he's making them, but he's not taking threes in the half court. Like, he doesn't generate or taking twos in the half court. He's floating around that three-point line. And he's mostly floating around the wings in the corner. If you look at his shot chart, he's not really taking above like top of the key threes. He's a true spacer and a play finisher. And the key for Matisse was always going to be shooting, right? He said it himself at Media Day. The thing that's going to allow him to be a real positive contributor is his shooting. He lost his starting spot because the physicality and length of Toumani Camara was more valuable for the Blazers than the sort of creative defensive playmaking, get in the passing lane, make steals, funky defensive impact of Matisse Thybulle. But Matisse didn't let it wear him down. He's been good off the bench. In fact, the first game against Memphis, Toumani Camara starts the second half. Matisse Thybulle said in the locker room afterwards that he wasn't feeling well. He's sick. Something was going around the whole team. And Chauncey just decided not to start him because he didn't want to overload him. And when he said that to me, I knew it was BS. A couple games later, loses his starting spot. But it wasn't the thing that Matisse Thybulle never got down on himself. Instead, he started playing the best version of himself. He's been really good lately. 4 of 8 from 3 against the Lakers. 2 of 5 from 3 against the Jazz. 3 of 4 of 3 against the Cavs. Only one other time in his career. This is season 5. Only one other time in his career has he had multiple threes in 4 consecutive games. He just it's never been part of his, like he's had moments where he shot the ball well. And he was his second season in the league, he was flirting with league average from 3, but he's in a Blazer uniform, they've gone in. The only other time he's had 4 consecutive games with multiple three-pointers, February 26th to March 3rd of 2023. That was his 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th game in a Blazer uniform. They told him to shoot it, and he started making them. I don't think that Matisse Thybulle is going to morph into this highly impactful offensive player. In fact, his offensive game still, to me, leaves a lot to be desired because he's not a great passer. He's not a great ball handler. He turns the ball over a little bit for someone with who's not like a super high usage guy. But the shooting is the thing that the Blazers desperately need. And if he keeps this up, it's going to change eventually the way he gets guarded. Right now, he still shoots a ton of open three-pointers. Teams sag off of him. They don't guard him. They don't respect him. They, just like your boy here with the microphone, are haters. They're haters. They don't trust Tease. But when you shoot 42% from 3 and you take 4 a game, you become dangerous. And eventually the geometry changes. What I want Tease to keep doing is keep shooting the ball. Don't let the demotion to the bench didn't break him. His minutes barely changed. He's playing a little bit more of some of the games. He's playing well. He's playing well. He's been impactful. But do what you do. Find spots in the corner. They're going to leave you, especially when you're on the weak side. They're going to come all the way in, clog the paint, and dare you to shoot it. And all you got to do is keep doing what you do. Matisse Thybulle is the 3-and-D wing the Blazers have been waiting for, The rest of the NBA doesn't know it yet. And before they find out, Matisse Thybulle should just keep shooting because the next step for him is crazy volume, right? It's to shoot like 9 a game. But the first thing he's got to do is continue to make them. And on Friday against the Lakers, he can tie his career high with most consecutive games with multiple made threes. Never did it in Philly. Has a chance to do it twice in 2 partial seasons in Portland. Keep shooting them. The 3-and-D promise is there. He's been very efficient from the floor because he only takes 3-pointers and he only gets open ones. Cash them in, make them pay, and eventually they'll have to start guarding you. And when they have to start guarding you, it will change the way the Blazers' very clunky offense looks because you'll have folks respecting shooters. Matisse is going to be the thing that unlocks it. It could take months. We might be talking about this in March, but I think the way you do it is you punish them until they find out, and then once you find out, you punish them the other way. Okay, to close the show, I want to talk about I want to visit our latest stupid segment, which is You'd Love to See It, where I talk about something in the upcoming game that you would love to see. And in today's episode, it's Jabari Walker. I got something you'd love to see Jabari do. So we'll talk about to close the show. The Blazers' standout second year forward, putting it together as we enter game number 12 of the season. First, let's talk Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy. I play Prize Picks. I play basketball because we're into basketball season now officially. As we get a month into this thing, it's the NBA season. We're getting college basketball heating up as well. But if you don't want to play basketball, they got NHL games you can pick, or NHL action you can get in on, NFL action you can get in on. How it works is you pick between 2 and 6 players on every entry, and it's just you going more or less than the projections set by Prize Picks. So you're not playing against the field. You're not playing against sharks. It's just Prize Picks projections. So for me, I see things like rebounds, blocks, steals. I'm like, listen, Matisse Thybulle is going to make 2 threes. I'm going more than 7.5 points for Matisse Thybulle. I believe. Pick a couple others on the entry. Then, bang. A minute later, I've submitted my picks. If you're feeling lucky, you can say I'm going to get 4 for 4 right, but you can say 3 for 4. You can say 4 out of 5. You can win a whole bunch saying 6 for 6. Make your entries quickly. And plus, right now, if you're new to the game, you can go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA, and your first deposit match will be up to $100. They're matching you dollar for dollar on your first deposit up to $100. You only want to put $25 in? Well, still go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA. They'll match you for $25. Super easy to use. It's daily fantasy made easy. Check it out. prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond. You're still listening to Locked On Blazers. Our latest edition of You'd Love to See It. Talking about things that you would love to see. Today's edition is Jabari Walker scoring double digits. Jabari's had 12 in back-to-back games. 12 points in back-to-back games. In the loss against Utah, 12 points, 8 boards. In the loss to Cleveland, 12 points, had 2 steals, blocked a couple shots. I'm going to talk about Jabari's offense right now, but I will say this. I think for me, the biggest strides he's made is as a defensive player. I think the defensive playmaking and him moving his feet and using his active hands and using his size and being physical and being competitive on defense is the biggest strides he's made, because that's the space where his skills won't be an issue. He has the physical tools to be a good defensive player. For Jabari, it's recognizing the pattern so you're in the right spot and playing your butt off. He's mostly recognizing the pattern so he's in the right spot and he's playing his butt off. on the other side, like skill can get in the way, right? Like shooting and touch and the ability to get your own shot off the dribble and those things, like that is not out of your control. That's not how it works, but it is harder to develop than just the like bringing it on defense. And he has been so active as a playmaker on defense. I've been really impressed with him as a defensive player. But what you'd love to see on Friday night is Jabari Walker score in double figures in 3 straight games for the first time in his career. 12 in back-to-back games, has never had 3 straight games in double figures. Not a big surprise. Played in 56 games last year as a bit player. Probably 10 of those appearances were like at the end of blowouts. He really didn't play regular solid minutes until the tank for sure. Until the tank at the end, he got he won some cameo minutes for weeks at a time here in January and February in the second half of the season. But he never truly cemented himself with the spot. He's always he's a second round rookie. He was trying to get himself cemented in the rotation. Then he comes in here in year 2 and like they didn't make moves to put anybody in front of him. It was always going to be minutes for Jabari, and all he's done is be solid as heck. Last year, the one thing he could do in the NBA was rebound. Didn't really have another bankable skill, but he could rebound. And once the thing about like the fun part about watching guys grow is like, okay, he can do one thing. Well, he's played 50 games in the league. He's figured out the one thing he can do. Let's see if he can add another block to the foundation. And then if you can do 1.5 things, and then 2 things, and then 2.5 things, and then 3 things, and all of a sudden you're a player. The rebounding and the defensive impact, those are 2 blocks. Like that's where you're starting to see a foundation of Jabari Walker turning into a long-term solid NBA contributor. The next step is offense. In his rookie season, he was a negative on offense. Like I don't even mean that in a mean way. I just mean it factually. He was bad on offense. Couldn't shoot, couldn't dribble. His decision making was like he would see passes, and then by the time he would make that pass, it'd be too late, or he'd telegraph the play, or he struggled, right? Struggled on offense. Period. He just struggled. This year, he's starting to figure it out. He's made multiple threes in back-to-back games. He's got that little sort of like don't really get off the ground, shuffling sidestep layup. He gets after it to get offensive putbacks. If he can shoot and he can get himself in the mix on putbacks and he can score in double figures off the bench while providing the effort he does on defense and the effort he does crashing the glass and being a nuisance, playing bigger than he is on the defensive glass as well, he is a, top 8 rotation player, 5th starter pretty quickly, like in a hurry. I don't know that he's I don't mean to project like Jabari Walker as like right now, like a starter on a good team. I'm not even sure he plays on like the really competitive teams in the league, right? He'd certainly be on the edge of the rotation if he did. But this Blazers season isn't about measuring up against the best teams in the league. It's about growing for the next iteration. And Jabari Walker, you're seeing him grow for the next iteration. So what you would love to see on Friday is those minutes against the Lakers bench dominated by the energy, hustle, and suddenly reliable shooting stroke of Jabari Walker. He has scored in double figures 3 times in the first 11 games, including back-to-back. He scored in double figures 7 times in 46 games all of last season. He's starting to figure it out. It's not going to be perfect with him, but I'm excited for him. It's little things with him. Shot under 50% from the field last year, shooting 48% from 3, but it's 42% from the field last year. He's now up to 48%. 56% on 2-pointers. He's making his free throws. He's shooting, 35% from 3 on 2 attempts a game. It's not blowing you away. It's not crazy numbers. He's still had some stinkers here and there. He's still working on it, but improving from 2, improving from 3, improving at the 3-point line, adding some defensive playmaking. The building blocks are there. You'd love to see Jabari Walker keep it going, scoring double figures for a 3rd straight game for the first time in his career. That's going to do it for today's show. Lakers on Friday, OKC Sunday. I will talk to you after both of those games. Portland is in the midst of the 3rd worst start in the history of the franchise. 1971, 1972, they had worse 11-game starts. This is the third worst start in franchise history. If you are rocking with the show during the third worst start in franchise history while Scoot Henderson is hurt, Anthony Simon is hurt, and Malcolm Brogdon is hurt, thank you. I earnestly and honestly mean it. Thank you. Thank you. Come back for more. We'll do 5 next week. I've been slacking on interviews. I couldn't coordinate with a couple people, and it didn't work out. I'm going to get guests on the show. We're going to have fun. It's what we do. I say it at the end of every show, but I mean it. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.